Let's talk. So, today, let's talk about Ezra Miller, the golden child of indie cinema, or just a terrible human being. Well, if you don't know who Ezra Miller is, you can see him in movies such as The Perks of Being a Wallflower, or the terrible Justice League, or the equally terrible Justice League's Snyder Cut. So now, why are we talking about Ezra Miller? Well, today let's talk about Ezra Miller to see the hypocrisy of Hollywood and the big studios such as Warner Brothers. Let's go back to February 2020. So back in February 2020, Ezra Miller rented an Airbnb in Iceland where he lived with a few of his friends and a few other people as a commune. But that's not the point. The point is that many sources told Business Insider that Ezra Miller was terrifying because of his outbursts. Now, these emotional outbursts could just be an anger management issue, which is fine. But that's not where it ends. In April 2020, in a since deleted tweet, now, mind you, the tweet was deleted for unknown reasons, but at the same time, because of the way the internet works, it's all over the internet and people can find it if they want to. But this was a tweet which was a video of Ezra Miller choking and throwing a woman to the ground in a bar, outside a bar in Iceland. Now, that is a physical assault. But for anybody else, this would be a really, really terrible thing, and that person may most probably lose their job, be fired, or in Ezra Miller's case, be cancelled from Hollywood. But that did not happen. And why that did not happen is something we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. But again, as I said, all of this is just the start. In March 2022, Ezra Miller was arrested in Hawaii because of an altercation at a karaoke bar. Ezra Miller snatched the mic from a woman and pounced on her husband who was playing darts. Following the incident, the couple got a restraining order against Ezra Miller. But later on, he entered their house and threatened them and said, "I will bury you and your slut wife." Real classy stuff from the Flash of the DCEU. Oh, he also stole their wallet, which had their credit card, their social security, and other important stuff. But it's Ezra Miller, so he just continued doing what he was doing. Again, it just doesn't end with Ezra Miller. In June 2022, an 18-year-old's parents said that Ezra Miller was grooming their kid since he was 14. So when the kid was 14, apparently Ezra Miller tried to sleep with the kid and provided the kid with alcohol, LSD, and weed. The parents also said that when they went to meet their kid, he had bruises all over, and obviously his passport, driver's license, and car keys and bank cards were missing. Again, clearly a pattern in what Ezra Miller does. Now, after everything that I've told you and everything that is on the internet, Miller should be cancelled, right? Well, not quite. Miller is somehow still going to play the Flash in the upcoming movie, which has been delayed multiple times, but it's still happening, and Ezra Miller is still the Flash. Well, one of the main reasons is that Warner Brothers wants to pander. Who did they want to pander to? The LGBTQ community. How is that? Well, Ezra Miller is actually a they, and they are queer. And that means that Warner Brothers will do whatever it takes to protect Ezra Miller, no matter how bad a person he is, because they know if they pander to the LGBTQ community, they will be able to get more revenue from the movie, they will be able to get more crowds from the far left, from the LGBTQ community, and people who generally do not know what Ezra Miller has done. Because, again, this guy has assaulted a woman. This guy has stolen credit cards, stolen social security numbers, stolen car keys. This guy has groomed a kid and done so much more probably that we don't know. But still, Warner Brothers and Hollywood are doing whatever it takes to protect this human being. At this point, it's quite obvious that Warner Brothers and Hollywood have poured tons of money into covering up these stories. These stories are out there, but they are not mainstream. And honestly, Kevin Hart was cancelled, although for a short time, but was cancelled and lost his Oscar gig, his dream job, mind you, simply because of a tweet he made 10 years ago. 10 years ago. But this guy has done so much worse and still continues to be the Flash in the DCEU. Questions need to be asked about Warner Brothers. Questions need to be asked about the new head of DC at Warner Brothers, which is James Gunn. They all are simply mum about the situation and are just trying to pass by this. By the time the Flash movie releases, again, they're going to pour in tons of money to keep all of this under the rug. Now, it's quite obvious that this entire situation is a complete mess and a complete shit show. But it does show one thing, and it's something that people need to understand. Warner Brothers, Hollywood, and any of the big studios do not care about the consumers. They do not care about how the consumers feel. They do not care about what the consumers want. At the end of the day, their bottom line is to make money, which is fine, but the pandering that follows it leads to just a terrible shit show, which leads to terrible people still being in the movie that definitely shouldn't have a job right now. So, Warner Brothers, Hollywood, and well, any big industry will do whatever it takes to pander to people. They will put the Black Lives Matter hashtag on their Twitter bio. They will wave the LGBTQ flag during Pride Month, but they only care about money. They just want the money of the consumers. And we need to understand that. We need to start asking questions, because terrible people like Ezra Miller shouldn't be let go so easily. That's it for me on Roman Talks.